guys, welcome back to another What I Eat in a Day video. As you can tell, I am not in my apartment. I'm actually up visiting my parents in Vermont. As many of you know, I grew up in Vermont and my parents still live here, and I try to get up here as much as possible. So for the past week and a half, I have been up here hanging out with them. I've been getting a lot of work done, a lot of recipe testing done, and I thought it would be fun to film a What I Eat in a Day video. My days honestly aren't that different here. The food that they keep on hand is a little bit different, so I'm kind of making do with what I have. I always end up bringing a ton of my own stuff up with me for the trip, but of course I'm starting my day with my standard matcha latte. I actually just got a shipment of my favorite medicinal mushrooms from Root and Bones, so I'm going to be using some pine pollen as well as some cordyceps. Cordyceps are awesome for energy, and pine pollen is really, really great for immunity. As you guys know, a couple weeks ago I got pretty sick, so I'm really trying to help my immune system and help it out as much as I can. So pine pollen is really great for that, and I'll add both of those into my matcha. And then breakfast, I am making a standard smoothie bowl with a fun little twist that I'll be showing you. As I'm filming this intro, I actually just filmed my lunch, so I think you guys will like the lunch spread that I have because it's very simple, and it is a type of lunch that I make when I pretty much have zero time and zero creativity. So it's a good inspiration if you're feeling lazy. And then I'm not quite sure what dinner has to bring for us yet. I am home alone with my mom. We'll probably make some tofu, maybe roast some cauliflower, but I'll definitely make sure to bring you along for the ride. So my matcha today was a teaspoon of matcha powder and then a teaspoon of cordyceps, and again you can use code SimplyQuinoa to get 15% off, and some pine pollen. I did about a tablespoon of pine pollen. And then of course I sweeten it with monk fruit extract, use pumpkin pie spice for a little bit of extra flavor, do a generous scoop of coconut butter to make it nice and creamy, top that with hot water, blend it up until it's smooth and creamy. And my parents don't have that large mug that I always make my matcha in, so I actually drink 2 cups of matcha here. The ingredient amount is still the same, it's just the amount of liquid that I use. I use like 3 cups of liquid, so it ends up being 2 matchas. And then that's pretty much it. I absolutely love this drink, in case you guys can't tell. So my smoothie bowl is a base of fresh local spinach, so it looks a little bit different than the kind I use in New York, but so good. As well as a scoop of Amazing Grass green powder. I will link the one that I have below. I did a scoop of my favorite chocolate protein powder and some cacao powder. And then I actually used steamed broccoli. So I cut the stems off of the broccoli and I just gently steamed them for about 10 minutes, and then I let them cool down, transfer them to the freezer, and I freeze them, and they are awesome for smoothies. They make it really nice and creamy, add in a ton of great nutrients, and you can't taste them. So I did a nice handful of that. And then I also did frozen cherries for our smoothie today. And of course, I used some coconut water, which is my favorite base, and then I just blend it up until it's nice and smooth and creamy. This one got super thick, very much like ice cream, which I adore. Texture and color is not ideal, but I topped it with some dried mulberries and a nice big scoop of peanut butter. So my lunch was actually just 2 rice cakes that I topped with a homemade spread that we made. It had some roasted red peppers, it had some of that Kite Hill chive cream cheese that I really like. I think it also had some beans and some fresh herbs. I can't remember, my mom made it. So I just did a spread of that on each little thin rice cake. And then I topped that with some sliced avocado. I did half of an avocado for this meal. And then I did some sunflower sprouts on top of that. You could also just do alfalfa sprouts. Sprinkled that with some hemp seeds. And this is what they look like. It's so simple, but it's like a really yummy sandwich almost. It's so good. And then on the side, I also did a sliced up apple. I just kind of sliced up an apple into pieces. And then I just had a jar of almond butter sitting next to my computer as I was eating lunch, and I just kept dipping the apple in the almond butter, and that was my lunch. So simple, really packed with healthy fats and some protein, and honestly took me like 5 minutes to make. And dinner, again, is one of my kind of standard recipes. I did a ton of roasted vegetables, so we roasted an entire head of cauliflower, drizzled that with salt, pepper, and oil, roasted up a sweet potato into sweet potato fries, And then I also did some broccoli, and then of course there's some more cauliflower there. And again, it was just olive oil, salt, and pepper. And then I decided to also add in some smoked paprika to the sweet potatoes. It's like my favorite combination. It tastes so good. And then I also baked some tofu. So this is about half of a block of extra firm tofu that I tossed in some homemade vegan barbecue sauce that I made. That recipe is going to be coming very soon, so make sure to check out the description box to get it. Just basically toss it all with the barbecue sauce, transfer it onto your baking pan, and then we'll bake all of this at 425 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes until everything is nice and golden brown and crispy. Then while that is baking, I'm going to make a creamy sauce for the cauliflower. This recipe is actually on my website, and I made a few tweaks, but the base is on my website. So it is tahini, and then I also added in some coconut yogurt, and then the spices were curry powder, garam masala, smoked paprika, some garlic powder, and of course salt and pepper. And then I also use some brown rice vinegar to add a little bit of tang, and then just stir this all together. It's gonna get really thick and you're gonna thin it out with water. And essentially the texture that you're looking for here is like a creamy ranch dressing kind of, so it's really kind of pourable, and we're gonna pour this over the roasted cauliflower. So once the cauliflower comes out of the oven, you can just transfer it into a large bowl. I honestly didn't even let it cool down much. It was still really good, nice and hot. So then I poured this dressing over the cauliflower, and I tossed it all to combine, and honestly, so good. You guys are going to love this recipe. It is so simple, and it is like creamy and flavorful, and it kind of just makes cauliflower taste good, because cauliflower doesn't quite have like a taste. So this just makes it really flavorful and delicious. And then here's the finished product. I styled it in this bowl. I sprinkled it with a little cilantro and some cracked pepper, and such a good recipe. I've linked it for you in the description box below, like I said. And then our final kind of product, there is the roasted sweet potato fries, there is the tofu, there is the broccoli, and then we had the cauliflower salad on the side. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed today's What I Eat in a Day video. As always, I would love to get your comments, suggestions, feedback, anything like that. All of the recipes that are actual recipes are linked for you in the description box below. I've also linked some of the products I use, like the matcha, the medicinal mushrooms. I also have the monk fruit extract. Everything that I use in my matcha is linked below, as well as the blender. And then I tried to link everything else that is an actual product for you below, so that if you do want to pick those things up or try them out for yourself, you can do that. Don't forget to use the coupon code for the medicinal mushrooms. If you haven't tried them out yet, you get 15% off using the code SimplyQuinoa. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. On the next screen, I will link my What I Eat in a Day playlist. So if you like this type of video, make sure to subscribe and check out the playlist, because I have 44 other videos in this series, and hopefully you can get some inspiration from there. So I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will talk to you very, very soon.